Hi again, everyone. It's Joy, and welcome to my second Sweet of the Month video for July 2021. Again, I am using the Hand Pen Petals Suite, which has the Hand Pen Petals stamp set and the Penned Flowers dies. It also has the Hand Pen Designer Series paper and the very pretty Genial gems. So here is the Hand Pen Designer Series paper. It is floral on one side and patterns on the other. It is on page 131 in the annual catalog for May 2021 to April 2022. On pages 104 and 105, you will see this suite and all the gorgeous samples that are shown in the book. So I will be using that for my project. I will also be using the Ornate 3D embossing folder, the Ornate Floral. And let's get started making our project. I will put this over to the side. And then I am going to bring in a piece of the Highland Heather that I have already embossed, but I'm going to show you just a little trick that I just learned. I can't believe I've been using embossing folders for so many years, and I just learned what this little line down here by the Stampin' Up! Logo is for. You line up your paper with this line, and then you know it's straight and you're getting a straight pattern on your piece of cardstock. So that is just brilliant. Next, I'm bringing in 3 pieces of Designer Series paper from the Hand Penned Designer Series paper pack. And I am using a Blushing Bride, a Highland Heather, and a Mint Macaron piece. As you can see, there's prints on one side and beautiful florals on the other. So those pieces are about, let's see, 1.5 inches by 3 inches. Each of those are the same size. I will be putting the imperial and metric measurements at the end of this video. My first layer that I have embossed is 4 inches by 5.25 inches. So let's start putting these pieces onto this layer. I'm going to use some of my seal, which is a great tape runner. I'm going to attach it where I've got just a little bit of border on this edge here. Then I want to put my top piece on, and I want that to have the same amount of border up here, but it will be centered on this piece. And then lastly, I will put this middle Highland Heather piece. And I'm going to center it between these two, but I want it to have just a little bit of the same border edge on the left side. There's the start of our background. Now these dies are just, I love these dies. They are so pretty. There is a scalloped edge piece. There are pieces that cut out these stamped images. There are leaves and flowers, and then this very detailed piece that I've gone ahead and done a white die cut element for. First, before I die cut it, I took a piece of adhesive sheet, and I want to put that on the back of my cardstock first before I die cut this image. peel off the first paper layer and then take the thicker paper layer that has all the sticky goodness on it and attach that to your cardstock before you run it through your die cutting machine. Now I have gone ahead and die cut 2 of those ahead of time, so they already have the adhesive on the back, so this makes it a sticker. So I just peel off the other paper side, and then I will attach this onto the front of my card. That makes a very pretty and elegant background. It's always a learning process when you're doing these things. And sometimes I will do what I've just done and forget that I was going to put my ribbon underneath this white die cut element. But let's see what it looks like on top. I'm going to take a longer piece of ribbon, which is about 6 inches approximately. You may need to adjust that depending on how you like to tie your ribbon. You're leaving a loop and then taking a smaller piece that is about 2.5 inches and pull the longer piece to tighten that loop around the shorter piece, because we stuck the shorter piece inside that loop. So there we have that piece. So I am going to put that onto this on top of that, and I think it will look just fine. I think the person who gets this card will not have seen my other sample and will never know how I originally intended to have this ribbon. So attach that onto the back. So that's very pretty there. Now let's work on this focal piece with our sentiment and bring a stamp in that says "Feel Better, Friend," and our Highland Heather ink. So let's go ahead and stamp this towards one end. Let's get that really nice and good. There we go. That looks very pretty. Close up our ink pad so we don't get inky fingers. And bring in a little bit larger, just 1/8 of an inch larger piece to layer that onto. Again, don't forget that the measurements will be listed in the back of this video at the end of it. As you can see, this is a very small skinny border around that piece. I've also taken some of the flowers from these dies and cut some of those pieces in a leaf piece. This is Highland Heather with Blushing Bride and Mint Macaron. I'm going to take some of the Tombow mono liquid glue, the multi-liquid glue, and I just need a little bit of, let's see, where should I put that? Yeah, let's put it right here. Just a little tiny bit there. And then put this flower kind of overlapping that. There we go. Now I need just a little bit on the end of this mint macaron leaf. Let's close that up. So I'm making just a little floral element. Oh, I put my glue away too fast. I need some glue, just a little bit, just a skinny border around. We don't want it too globby, so make sure you spread that out if you kind of get some globs. And that is going to go onto, I didn't put any on the edge of this leaf because that's going to be hanging off of our focal element. There we have our focal piece. And I need some dimensionals, so I'll put a couple of those on there. And then I am attaching it onto the front of our card. There we go. And they aren't too much different. They're, you know, just slightly, but again, the person who gets this second card will never know that I had intended it to be slightly different. Now I need my card base, which is half of a sheet of cardstock. It's A2 size here in the United States, so it's 5.5 inches by 8.25 inches, and then scored and folded at the 4.25 inch mark. Use my bone folder to give that in a nice sharp crease. Now we need some more dimensionals on the back of this piece. I'm going to put several on here so that we don't have saggy middles. As you can see, there's just a little bit of a tone-on-tone layer with a little bit of a edge around that. Now we're ready to do the inside. I've gone ahead and used that scallop piece, that scallop die in the die set. You will want to make sure when you run it through the die cutting machine that you have it going horizontally rather than vertically, because those skinny dies like that tend to want to get a little bit of a bend in them if you run them straight through vertically. So you want to turn it horizontally, or at least at an angle as you run it through your die cutting machine. I also have a piece of basic white that I have cut at 4 inches by 5.25 inches. So my strip of Designer Series paper is 5.25 inches. I also want to make sure that this hangs off just a little bit off this edge. But first, I want to stamp this. I'm going to bring in the large open floral piece, and again, my Highland Heather ink. Turn that over, and then just a little bit in the corner here. And that just shows you that you do not need to color in every open image. You can do some just stamping just as it is, and it will look just fine. Now it's time to put that Designer Series paper on the edge. If your seal doesn't work, just give it a little bit of a nudge. And then I'm going to line this up. I just want just the smallest of scallop peeking out. Oh, that's very pretty. It is always good to make your insides pretty as well. So now we're going to attach that to the inside of our card. Now this one, I am going to go ahead and put this left edge right up against that fold, but leaving a border around the other 3 sides. There we go. Oh, that is a very pretty inside as well as a pretty outside. I'm sure that this card would make anyone feel better if you gave it to them. Now it's time for our Genial gems. So I am grabbing one of the large ones and putting it about there, and then a large one and a small one up here at the top with just a little bit of a stagger. There we are. So I hope you've liked my second Sweet of the Month for hand pinned, and it is for the month of July 2021. So I hope you will like this video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not already done so. If you do not already have a demonstrator, you are welcome to find me at stampwithjoy.com. If you do have a demonstrator, please be sure to place an order with your demonstrator. Until next time, bye.